Okay, let's take a look at this lap. So we'll come back to the final corner. Let me just change the camera again, so you can see what I'm talking about a little bit better. Okay, so turn one, we're braking just before the 2, it's about 2.5, and then trying not to clip the apex. So nice and close to the apex curb, but try not to hit it because it'll just, it's not too bad, it's not like a really violent curb, but it'll bounce the car to the right, and just you'll have to wait a little while longer to get on throttle. So close as possible, but don't hit it. Then as soon as you're done not being in the grass, so as soon as you finish turning left, get on the brakes for turn 2. I like to kind of go in too fast almost, so I'm braking a little bit, and then letting the car sort of drift away from the apex in the middle of the corner. And then as soon as I can see this curb on the inside here, I'm trying to get back over to it and slowly picking up the throttle. You'll see actually about halfway through, when I'm at the sort of widest point, is when I start picking up the throttle, but just gradually, and then full throttle at the end of the curb there. Depending on whose setup you're using or how your setup is, you may struggle to get the car to stop the car understeering off on the exit there, so just be aware of that. That curb's got a little bit of sort of elevation to it, so it helps just keep the car on the track, just sort of gives you a friendly nudge in the right direction. Then here I try not to hit this curb. The car will also wheel spin a little bit over the crest, but it's not a big deal. So then down into Charlotte's Web, the braking's just before the 2 again. Oh, okay. I was obviously experimenting with some different braking points. My fastest lap, I'm braking on the 3, so that's probably where I should be braking. Nice and soft on the brake when you start to turn. Now obviously the braking, you can't really see it from this camera angle too well, but the road drops away, so it's quite easy to lock the rears when the car goes a bit light. Just be aware of that, and then nice and soft on the brake pressure as you get to the hairpin. It's kind of like a triple apex the way it's laid out. And then full throttle again. This is quite a bumpy section, so again, if your setup's quite loose on throttle, you may get surprised by some of the bumps there. And then down into whatever this corner's called, waterfall or museum or something, I don't know. Braking at the 2, and then we kind of, I try to completely ignore the left-hander part of the chicane, so turn right, cut the curb, and just turn right. So you just turn it into kind of a weird double right-hander. So as I've only done maybe an hour of practice, so as far as I can tell, that's as much as you can cut there without getting a slowdown. I haven't really experimented much more at the moment. And again, this is a common theme throughout Barber, is these exits where it's very easy to just grab the tiniest bit of grass and just spear yourself off to the other side of the track. So just be aware of that on pretty much. I think there's like 3 or 4 different places where you could easily do that on this track. So then coming up to the fast S's, just want to lightly clip both curbs. And then again, this is a pretty dangerous place to run wide. Anytime you have both of one side tyres on the grass and the other two on the pavement, it's pretty dangerous in this car. So the best thing to do is to either let the car go fully on the grass or lift as soon as you're half and half and get the car back onto the track. And then for this final sector, this is quite technical, so there's no good reference here for not for the braking. There's obviously good references for the braking, but for the turn-in point, which is important because on board you can't see the apex here for the left. So I'm sort of braking. It feels like the 1, but I can see from the replay here that it's closer to the 2. And then maybe I'm sort of turning in at the 1. Yeah, so that's why the 1 sticks in my mind. So braking at the 2, not very hard, like not a lot of brake pressure. Because we're not really trying to slow the car down so much as just transferring the weight forward. So just a little bit of brake pressure. And then turning in at the 1. You can clip quite a lot of this curb. You don't really need to. But if you get the turn in a little bit too early and it looks like you're going to hit the curb, don't worry about it too much. You'll hear a pretty nasty bottoming out scraping sound, but so far I haven't seen any damage on the left wing, so seems to be okay. Then the next, the right-hander, so we're shifting down from 4th to 3rd in between these two, and then cutting this curb massively all the way to the grass. And then it's full throttle. Again, the car is wheel spinning all the way up over this crest, so just be careful again not to run. The steering's quite light and not very responsive, so just make sure you're not going to end up in the grass there. Cut this curb, still in 3rd, and then this is a difficult corner. So just kind of maintaining speed, and then in VR, I don't know about you guys with monitors, but I can see this marshal post up on the left there, and once that sort of goes out of my vision, that's my braking reference. And then again, you want to brake in a straight line, obviously, as best you can. So let the car drift out, but just be aware of the edge of the track there. And then you can take this curb, keep the car right, so you're kind of like a compromised exit. There's no point carrying loads and loads of speed and ending up on the left here because you'll just ruin the line for the final corner. And then this is probably the most dangerous of the corner exits on the whole track. So you can take the curb again. My setup is a really awkward shift there between second and... So I'm going down to 2nd during that braking zone here. So then staying in 2nd. And then up to 3rd here, which is a really awkward shift. So I might mess with my gearing in the week. And then yeah, if you so much as touch a quarter of a tyre on the grass on the outside here, you're going in that wall, into pit wall. So just be aware of that. And that's a lap of Barber. Hope that helps.